Alright guys, I'm getting ready to do a front differential service on my 2014 Infiniti Q50S all-wheel drive, obviously. I'm going to have to take the front shield cover off. I'll show you guys how to do that real fast, and I'm going to get started. Alright, so in order to service this front differential, we got to get this front shield off. It's not too difficult. There's a bunch of 10 mils going all the way around, and then there's a couple clips. We can use our clip tool to get them out, and then I believe there is a couple bolts back there. Okay, I got all the bolts out around the front of the shield. And we're going to pop these push clips out. So there's 1, 2, 3. And this is my clip tool that I'm using. Just going to get under the clip like that and pop that out. Okay, got those 3 clips out. And I'm going to take the 2 bolts out of the back of the shield. Alright, got that shield out of the way. Here is the front diff. I'm going to spray that up with my knocker loose. I'm going to spray the top fill plug and the bottom drain plug. I'm going to let that soak for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to try to crack that fill plug free. Make sure to get that one out first. Remember, never take the drain plug out first, because if you can't get the fill plug out, then it's not going to go well for you. Alright, just letting that soak. This is the product that I use. Much better than PB Blaster in my opinion. WD-40, all them other brands. It's pricey, but it is a lifesaver. Just letting that soak. Alright, and you want to be careful when you're taking out that fill plug, because that oil pressure sensor's really close. So my best advice is 6/8 extension on that hex socket. And that is a HW10 hex socket. And this is my setup. 6/8 extension with the socket on my ratchet. I'm going to see if I can break that free, being very careful not to hit that sensor. So I was getting a little bit worried that I was going to hit that connector, so I just unplugged the oil pressure sensor for now. Alright, and my ratchet with the long handle, I was struggling to break it free. Sprayed it again. Put my cheap ratchet on there with my pipe for more leverage, and it broke free. And now will be a good time to put your drain pan under there, because when you take the fill plug out, you should have a steady drip of fluid if it's filled correctly. Alright, as I mentioned, took that fill plug out. And I got a steady drip of differential fluid coming down. Now I'm going to get ready to take the drain plug out. And to get the drain plug out, you really can't use an extension, otherwise you'll hit the sway bar. So just the socket on the ratchet should do the trick. And I had to do the same thing here. I had to crack it free with my ratchet with the pipe on there, because it was on there pretty tight. Alright, got my drain plug out. Just going to clean this magnet up. Alright, this is what it should look like when you have the magnet all cleaned up. Make sure you still have your gasket on there too. Alright, so we're drained enough. I'm going to put that drain plug back in. Alright, and this is the fluid that the front differential takes. It's a AWD weight GL5. This is what the manual calls for. I've used this brand 2 times before on these differentials on this car, and it's been perfect. Everything's been fine, and I beat the ever-living brakes off of this car, so, and it's held up just great. And this is the pump that I'm going to use to pump the fluid into the differential. I don't think you need much more than 1.5 quarts, but I got 2 bottles just in case. Alright, got my tube in the fill hole over there, and I'm going to start pumping fluid into the front differential. I also wanted to mention I do have the car on jack stands. And I have the jack on the rear diff right now in the back. But I do have the car level, so when you're about to fill the front diff up, you will get an accurate reading. I wouldn't recommend doing it just by jacking up the front, and then the car is all tilted to the back, and then potentially you're not filling it up all the way. So just a little tip there. Alright guys, so actually it looks like I was able to get away with just using 1 quart of this. I'm starting to get fluid dripping out of the fill plug, so I'm just going to pump a tiny little bit more in there, finish this off, and then once I get a nice steady flow, I'm going to put that fill plug back in. Alright, and I'm all done. Got my fill plug in, just going to plug back in my oil pressure sensor over there. Don't forget to plug that back in if you unplugged it, and there you go. Front differential service, 2014 Infiniti Q50S all-wheel drive.